Tim starts off this hour in Phoenix. Hi, Tim. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure, man. What's up?
Hey, got a question for you. I listened to your show and have listened to it for quite some time, and the topic either it's come up and I've missed it or I've never heard it, but we stand to inherit a sizable amount of money. We're guessing the estate probably in the neighborhood of around $2 million, and I'm 54, my wife's 52, and we don't need the money, but our homes are paid for, our cars are paid for, we've lived a life pretty much by the book and not borrowed a lot of money and raised three boys very successfully.
Well, good for you. Well done. When will this money be coming?
Yeah, thanks. My oldest is a police officer and recently bought a pretty expensive home from selling another home, and he's kind of at the top of the pay grade for his payment on the house. And then my middle son is doing a third-year residency as a radiologist. He's got about $300,000 worth of med school debt. Brendan, my oldest, has got about the same, probably in a mortgage. And my youngest is in the Coast Guard and doesn't have any debt, but he's got a little bit of money saved up. What we're thinking is when and if, now we're talking within the next 5 to 10 years, we don't know. We're just anticipating this is, we're realists. The inheritance is, coming from an in-law that's in their 80s, and we are the sole inheritance, so we know we got to do something with it. We were thinking of taking the money and maybe not all of it, but half of it, and divided it up between the three kids, and then kind of give them a head start and a jump on life. But on the other side of that, we never had that happen to us, and we managed to make it, and they're following in our footsteps. We just don't want to spoil them. What are your ideas on that?
It's too late to spoil them. They're too old to spoil.
Okay, great.
If they're all it would do is make them more of what they already are. If they're losers, you're going to make them wealthy losers. If they're great people of character, then they're going to follow in their parents' footsteps of being frugal and take the advantage of having medical school paid off, or the advantage of a $300,000 cash account, or the advantage of a paid-for home, and use that to continue this wonderful legacy that your family seems to have. Well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you. Well, that's kind of what we were thinking, but again, nothing has ever been handed to me, and I just hate that when you hand something to somebody and it backfires.
Well, the thing is, how do you keep it from backfiring? Number one, money makes people more of what they already are. Okay? And so just know that that's coming. And so you would, if you have one of the three that was off the rails, I'm not going to give them money. That's not fair. It's perfectly fair. They're off the rails. They got a heroin addiction. I'm not financing it. That's not a loving act. And so, that kind of thing. But that's not the case with your three, so we don't have to worry about that. But the second thing I'm going to do, if I'm you, and I have done this with mine, we sat down with them when they came into adulthood and went over the estate plan, and we said, simultaneously as you see what is going to be given to you to manage someday, we want you to, for the first time in your life, realize how much money is here, and we want you to have a moment where you feel the weight of the responsibility to carry this legacy forward and to manage this money for God. This is not a woohoo, I hit the lottery moment.
Right.
And you can say that out loud to these men and their wives and look at them. And if you're handing somebody a $300,000 check, you can say a lot of things to them.
Sure.
And the second thing I'd do is I'd put them through Financial Peace University and say that's you going through this class and continuing the smart, common sense methods of handling money is a condition of this gift. Because I want this gift to be a blessing to you, not because I'm a control freak.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And you can actually put all of them in one room and do it at once. So they all know they were...
but they're scattered across the country.
I know, but you can afford a plane ticket at this point, right?
Exactly.
So, maybe at Christmas or something, we go on a family vacation, you take everybody and pay for it, and then you announce that you're splitting $1 million among them when this happens someday. But you can put some strings attached to this from an emotional and moral standpoint, and... one of my buddies paid off all his kids' houses, and he bought the other one's cash houses because he wanted his family to never have any debt again anywhere in the family. But the condition was with them and their spouses agreed to never borrow money ever again under any circumstances. I'm going to make you debt-free, but you got to stay that way, he said, And that means that my grandkids are going to have money. So, and my great grandkids are going to have money, and and so we're going to pass on the knowledge and the common sense and the wisdom that causes this lady to have $2 million, that causes you to be where you are, and so we're creating legacy with information and money. Does that make sense?
Well, I appreciate it. Great idea.
Yeah, I would do that. I'm going to send you a copy of a book called The Legacy Journey, which is the only book I have written on wealth. All the other books I wrote were on money. There's a difference. And it's got a lot of that kind of stuff in there when you're dealing with this kind of stuff. Lastly, make sure you check with an estate planning attorney before you give a gift that size, because under current tax law, if you give more than $15,000 without structuring it properly, in a calendar year, you're going to get hit heavily with a gift tax. You can do it, though, easily by doing it under the Unified Estate Tax Credit methodology, and currently you got plenty of room on that in the law to do that with what you're describing to me. But you need to, there's some paperwork that needs to be done to keep you from getting gift tax, and gift tax is 55%. So you want to be sure you do this right. So seek some good estate planning, tax, and legal advice as you're doing the gift when that does occur. And let's see where the tax law changes, because this new tax law changed if y'all didn't know, it changed the estate tax exemptions from $5 million to $11.2 million, which that means a couple can have up to $22.4 million right now in assets when they die and have zero estate tax, which is most people, by the way. That covers almost everybody. And that goes away in 2026. The tax law only passed it up to 2026, and it goes away again, and it comes back down. And there's one theory out there that maybe the estate tax law is finally going to go away, the death tax, we call it, forever. But so estate tax laws changed dramatically this year, this calendar year. And if you've got some wealth and you haven't looked at your will and estate plan, you desperately need to do that.